can take the long way. We'll get there even if it takes all night. We're talking Don't tell me that you're fine if you're not fine. And if it's only pleasure that you're seeking, then I'll be penciling you in for the weekend. Forget about the white noise. It's chocolate and pajamas till the whole world fades. Just right, yes please. We can sink into the sofa for the whole week. Just right, please. We could just break down these walls over some take. Don't you worry about nothing at all. I can get to know you. We can take it slow, savor every moment, keep it on the low, baby. Just let go. We can keep this whole thing
Golden sun.
casual.
Look how pretty.
We'll take it back to the beginning when we first met. I find it funny how you hit me with the silence. So lady, what's the deal? Cause I'm thinking you sex appeal. But now when I'm with you, I feel just right. Yes, please. Go, we can kick it at the crib for like the whole week. Just right. Let me give you what you need. We can just break down these walls over some take. Don't you worry about nothing at all. I can get to know you. We can take it slow, savor every moment, keep it on the low, baby. Just let go, and we can keep this whole thing.
Yes.
Hazy days and hazy nights and you if you love me, won't you say so? Relaxation till we take it to the limit. Meditation till we let it all.
I'll go down.
Hazy days and hazy nights and new beginnings. Baby, we can keep it casual. We can keep it casual. Relaxation till we take it to the limit. Meditation till we let it all go. Hazy days and hazy nights, my head is spinning. If you love me, won't you say so? Relaxation till we take it to the limit. Meditation till we let it all go. Hazy days and hazy nights and new beginnings. Or we can keep it casual.
Wondering if thousands of miles away the sky's just as blue. It's as if I'm stuck in yesterday when I'm thinking of you. Cause when you have your morning coffee, I'm turning out the lights so I could dream. And when you smile through the screen, I wish you could be with me. So I lay my head to rest when the sun is rising. I'll start a brand new day when the moon is shining. I long to be with you in all the places you have been. So today I am time traveling. Da-dun-dun-dun. Oh, today I am time traveling.
And every time that you are closing your eyes, I will be beside you. And my heart will glide across the miles to fly right to you. Cause when I dive into the traffic, the echo of your voice is all I hear. I'm never tired of your laugh and so far, but ever so near. So I lay my head to rest when
lot of
start a
people
brand
in
new
Nyhavn.
day around the moon is shining. I long to be with you and all the places you have been. So today
Really?
I'm time traveling. So today I am time traveling.
I think this one is sweeter.
So I lay my head to rest when the sun is rising. I'll
That's good.
start a brand new day when the moon is shining. I long to be with you in all the places you have been. So today I am time traveling. Da-da-da-da. Oh, today I am time traveling.
This was who buys this and thinks like, oh my god, amazing.
I don't think that I'm being that selfish right now. You said yourself you'd be breaking every vow. I can understand you're tired of this town, and I'm not saying that we have to settle
I
down
think they're
now.
not in movies, but they
Just
created
remember
You mentioned that you mentioned that she had.
we could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find each other out there. Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact that you must to do what your dreams are telling you to do. And I'll be out there looking for someone like you. Stardust, stardust.
It's like a soybean paste. So it's literally.
Yes, it's right.
Thank you. You put effort.
Es ist ein Stor.
Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact if you must to do what your dreams are telling you to do. And I'll be out there looking for someone like you. Stardust, stardust. I'm the lazy one, so I guess I should have known. You said yourself you wanna do this alone. But if your dreams are making it hard to think straight, if you still love me, I can wait, I can wait. And remember this, we could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find each other out there. Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact if you must to do what your dreams are. someone like you. Supposed to go. Maybe I'm just too slow. We should just lean together. We could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find each other out there. Made us realize we're more than just stardust. Ignore this fact that you must to do what your dreams are to. They're looking for someone like you.